Jamaicans, drivers, passengers, motorcyclists, and pedestrians, slow down. Observe the rules of the road. Be courteous. Drive defensively. Be considerate. Buckle up. Wear a helmet. The careless overtaker is only rushing to the undertaker. Not observing the rules of the road could cost you your life and that of your loved ones. I encourage all road users to take special care as we use public thoroughfares. The life you save may be your own. Remember, your family wants you to arrive alive.
We urge you to heed Prime Minister Andrew Holness's appeal. After all, the life you save could be your own. You're tuned in to Jamaica Magazine. Welcome. I'm Adrian Atkinson.
Slow down, drivers. You're moving too fast. Listen, we drive the cars. Cars don't drive us. So watch it, huh? Pay attention to the road rules. Don't be a fool and don't bother with the careless overtaking. Just take your time on our Jamaica road and make we have a nice place. See? This is Taurus Riley, your singer and recording artist. Help me to save lives.
Good day, I'm Stephen McHugh, and this is your JIS News for Monday, June 4. Prime Minister Andrew Holness says the upgrading work on several major thoroughfares in the corporate area will contribute to a more productive labor force by significantly reducing travel time. He adds that the $170 million legacy road project is significant in scope and will address other infrastructure needs.
They are increasing the number of lanes. They are putting in modern road furniture. They are putting in modern technology for traffic enforcement. They are having better surfaces. They are also built taking into consideration the disabled community. But below the surface, what you don't see is another set of infrastructure which is put in.
Prime Minister Holness was addressing journalists following a tour of the road projects on Friday. He toured the Barbican Road Upgrade Project, which is now complete, as well as the Constant Spring Road Improvement Project. The Prime Minister also viewed the progress of work on the Mandela Highway Realignment and Reconstruction Project and the Hagley Park Road Improvement Project. He pointed out that the projects also included upgrades to the sewerage and water mains, in addition to drainage and telecommunications infrastructure. At the completed Barbican Road, Mr. Holness assured community members that steps would be taken to address their concerns.
They are not concerns which cannot be addressed. Things like the speed of the crossing, things like accommodation for elderly, improved drainage, and possible reconfiguration of crossing points. The NWA will take those concerns on board and in short order try to address them.
In the meantime, the Prime Minister says a public education campaign will be rolled out to ensure citizens, particularly those off Mandela Highway, are able to safely use the newly developed infrastructure.
In the coming weeks, I have given a direction to the NWA and to the Ministry of National Security and the police that we will have to step up our public education, because the people in these areas need to be educated as to how to use this new road, this new infrastructure, and not to see it as an imposition on the convenient way in which you used to do things before.
The legacy projects fall under the Major Infrastructure Development Program. The work is spearheaded by the Ministry of Economic Growth and Job Creation through the National Works Agency and is being executed by China Harbour Engineering Company. The remaining projects are expected to be completed in the next 6 to 8 months. Government will be opening a mining management institute to train managers, supervisors, and other workers in the industry. Mining Minister Robert Montego made the announcement in Parliament last week.
We intend to, over the years, lift the standards within the industry and eventually train and certify all the persons who work in the industry.
He says the institute will be established in collaboration with Excelsior College, and discussions have already been had with the municipal corporations and the National Land Agency.
The management of a mine or quarry operation requires proper record keeping, safety rules, reclamation techniques, energy efficiency, while reducing damage to the environment and protecting people's health. These will be the base of the curriculum.
Minister Montego says this is among measures to ensure the benefits of mining reach more Jamaicans. In the meantime, a land titling task force has been established for the industry to provide titles for persons who have been relocated to accommodate mining operations. The task force will be co-chaired by the mining minister, who says there are approximately 2,000 titles to be transferred.
We cannot relocate people from their lands that have a title, transfer them to other lands, but do so and do not give them a title. We are moving to correct that.
In his contribution to the sectoral debate last week, Minister Montego also announced that a bauxite reserve land bank is being developed. Through this, lands that are identified as having bauxite reserves will be inaccessible for other developments.
Even if we have to buy these lands, they must be held for future mining. Today, we have built on lands with reserves, thus making the mineral inaccessible or increase the cost of mining as more people and buildings have to be relocated.
Government is taking steps to make meals in public and private children's homes more nutritious and appealing for children. State Minister for Youth Floyd Green says an expert chef has been hired to consult with the places of safety.
This is part of a bigger project which we're taking right across our homes. We're having Jackie go into our kitchens, work with our chefs, help them to do the same things but in different ways. We're also looking to upgrade our kitchen facilities right across our system, and we're doing this for both public and private homes.
Minister Green was speaking while on a recent visit to the Glen Hope Nursery and Place of Safety on Maxfield Avenue. And finally, the Office of Disaster Preparedness and Emergency Management, OPM, says the island is in a state of readiness for the 2018 Atlantic hurricane season. The season officially started on June 1 and ends on November 30. The Met Services forecast is for above-average activity, and the Director General of OPM, Major Clive Davis, says all critical checks and balances have been put in place. He tells JIS News that supplies and shelters are ready and sufficient. In addition, contingency funds have been allocated for emergency response. Major Davis is imploring all Jamaicans to be vigilant during the season by paying attention to any bulletins issued and having supplies ready. And that's it for JIS News Today. I'm Stephen McHugh. Thanks for watching.
They were heading home, playing in the streets just like they always did. When
I'll see you again.
My name is Sheldon Bell. I barely survived. My friend, she didn't. I'm now much more careful on the road. You should be too.
330 Jamaicans died in road crashes in 2014. 99 of the deceased were pedestrians. Road users, obey road rules. Walk, drive, and ride with care. Remember, road safety begins with you.
Economic growth trending upwards. Unemployment hits 10-year low. And action being taken on improving the island's air quality. Just some of the positive news coming out of the Ministry of Economic Growth and Job Creation. Get the details next.
Growth with jobs is the primary aim of this administration.
And so, the minister with our portfolio in the Ministry of Economic Growth and Job Creation unveiled the state's plan to continue that focus in the 2018-2019 fiscal year.
Those targets were laid out during his recent contribution to the sectoral debates in Parliament.
Here are the highlights.
The PIOJ is projecting real growth of 2.5% for the 2018-19 fiscal year.
This, Minister Vaz says, is based on several things, including the continued strengthening of most industries, improvements in the business environment, and the rollout of major strategic investments.
Increasing economic growth has also led to a sharp decline in the unemployment rate. Up to January 2018, the unemployment rate stood at 9.6%, the lowest it has been since October 2007. Most of those employed during the period were non-government employees.
We are reaping success from the plans and programs that we have put in place in partnership with the private sector.
A critical pillar of that cooperation is the business process outsourcing, information communications technology sector. Having surpassed the target of 11,000 new BPO jobs for the last fiscal year, work is ongoing to create 24,520 jobs from investments in 15 projects across the island.
Support for the micro, small and medium enterprise MSME sector will also be expanded in the financial year.
The Development Bank of Jamaica will provide $27 billion in investments and over $8 billion in loans to MSMEs. Businesses will also benefit from a $1 billion loan scheme from the National Export-Import Bank of Jamaica.
To increase investments on the island, a comprehensive feasibility study for the Caenwood Economic Zone is to be completed in July.
This is to determine how the 1,200-acre site is to be used. The Jamaica Logistics Hub initiative gained Cabinet's approval in May, paving the way for its master plan and marketing analysis to be tabled in Parliament.
The master plan specifically details the actions Jamaica will need to take on several fronts simultaneously in order to realize its vision.
And work continues apace on the drafting and implementation of the necessary enabling legislation to facilitate investments.
Land remains an integral factor in the pursuit of economic growth and social development, as key sectors rely heavily on land and its utilization.
As a result, land titling has been accelerated with the merger of the National Land Agency and the Land Administration and Management Program, LAMP.
In order to streamline the land titling process, a systematic and community-based approach to establish land ownership is being implemented. Digital land mapping, electronic titling, and a public education campaign are also to be introduced. Strong action is to be taken on the environment in this fiscal year. To deal with poor air quality issues in and around Riverton City, the state has introduced a source emission reduction strategy and plan of action.
The plan targets the closure of illegal sites and the removal of solid waste, including tires, community sensitization and awareness building strategies to address minor sources of air pollution, deployment of additional air quality monitors, and the development of a national program for the environmentally sound management of used tires.
The Green Paper for Jamaica's Emissions Policy Framework is to be submitted to Cabinet this year. On the matter of plastics, the government is working with private firms, Recycling Partners of Jamaica, to collect and export PET bottles.
A $700,000 partnership has been struck with the government of Japan and UN Environment to undertake a plastics minimization project.
The question of a ban for plastic bags and styrofoam is not an if, it is a when.
International cooperation on the environment will also be increased this year. In addition to receiving $882,000 from the Green Climate Fund to increase climate change mitigation and adaptation, Jamaica will benefit from the assessment of its mangroves. 8 coastal communities will also see improved risk identification and reduction to vulnerability under the World Bank's Disaster Vulnerability Reduction Program. International assistance will be garnered for the implementation of climate-smart agriculture in rural farming communities and assessment of climate change on sandy shorelines around the island.
I have a vision of a Jamaica that is strong fiscally and socially. Together, we will continue creating jobs and empowering Jamaicans so that we can build a Jamaica that we all envision, the place of choice to live, work, raise families, and do business.
strike at any time. In the event of one, be prepared to act quickly. If a hurricane watch or warning has been issued, review your home disaster response plan. Map out likely routes to evacuate if your home is at risk and confirm with relatives or friends you plan to stay with. Also, confirm the location of the nearest shelter. Check your emergency supplies and restock if necessary. Remember, disasters do happen, so be prepared.
Did your family member die recently? Did he or she leave a will? If not, find out how the Administrator General's Department can assist your family in the process.
Yo, Kevin, what going? You know play ball with the man them?
Yo, you know, say I think happened to me the other day, my youth. Have me away, I'm never gonna lie to you.
How happened?
You know, some day I stress out and I grieve. You know my brother John?
Yeah.
You know, so one day the man say him sick, and we carry him to the hospital. And the man just dead, so. Dead left him daughter, no will. Yeah, and him two daughter, them called Ashley at 9 and Gabriel at 13, so we really don't know what to do.
Boy, sorry for hear that, you know. You never have no will?
Yo, I just said that already, man. Yo, man no left no will. If he left a will, would I know what to do. I really don't know what to do.
So him never have house, car, bank account? You must at least NHT contribution.
Yo, to tell you the truth, my brother very secretive. So I really don't know. I just know the fact say he's a teacher, and I know them pay him through the bank, so he would have a bank account. I know say him buy a house last year. The car where I have, I never know if I fee him. So I really don't know. That may I say if in the left a will, would I really know where I'm have or what to do. But we really don't know what to do.
No, I did hear upon the radio still Administrator General's Department deal with them matter there, you know.
Administrator General's Department. What them do really? What them really do?
The government office, man. Them, whenever people dead without will and them have kids under 18, them deal with the assets.
So you say Administrator General's Department, them deal with them thing there? Push for the Administrator General's Department there.
12 Ocean Boulevard.
Yeah, but I really like to go down there still and find out from them what them can do, because I tell us so we really don't know what to do. I tell you the truth.
Follow them play some ball, man. We follow go down there tomorrow.
Respect.
That's right. If someone dies and did not leave a will, leaving children under the age of 18 years old and have assets such as property, bank accounts and motor vehicle, you must report the death of the person to the Administrator General's Department.
Good morning, gentlemen. How may I help you?
Hello, good morning. I have a situation, I hope you can help me. My brother died last week, and I don't know what to do.
Did he leave a will?
No, he didn't leave a will.
Okay, I'm gonna ask that you complete this document for us.
To process the report of a death, you will need to complete a form of particulars witnessed by a justice of the peace or a notary public. You also have to submit an original death certificate, proof that you're related to the deceased, for example, birth certificate, marriage certificate, proof of assets such as bank passbook, land ownership documents, share certificates, motor vehicle documents, insurance policies, certificate of deposit. You will also need to provide a small sum towards administration expenses if no cash is left by the deceased. Before reporting a death, you can visit our offices for further information. In Kingston, 3rd floor at the Office Center Building, 12 Ocean Boulevard, or call us 922-183023. You can also visit our Western office at the 2nd floor of the National Housing Trust Building at 42B Union Street, Montego Bay, St. James. Telephone 630-4261. Our website is at www.agd.gov.jm. That's the Administrator General's Department, securing your legacy.
This is my appeal, Jamaica. Give blood for it.
Give blood and give the gift of life. So safe you don't have to think twice. Do what you can for one another.
Yeah, man.
Be a hero, be a blood donor.
Yeah, me people. Watch it. Give blood. For your sister and your brother, save the life of another. You might never know.
Give blood.
Cause you know my life, you love many people want blood. The Father says so.
One
sign up today. Be a blood
The state's protection of its citizens is not limited to the legislature or the judiciary. It also has organs that are integral to restoration. Take a look.
The issue of sexual assault against women and children, including rape, is a major concern for Jamaica. The government is working hard to not only put away the perpetrators of violence against women and children, but also to provide support to the victims. One organization which offers tremendous support to the victims of sex crimes is the Victim Services Division of the Ministry of Justice. Last year alone, the division provided assistance to more than 13,000 victims.
The government provides this support for victims, and it will provide the support from the day you become a victim of crime. It will follow you through the process. If you have to go to court, it has various innovative approaches that is designed to build your capacity to go through your victimization. The court orientation program of the Victim Services Division is one which has gotten the commendation of police and court officials right across this country. It has several components. Well, even before we actually get into the court, we had a phase where we provided technical capacity building for judges and magistrates across the island, prosecutors, police officers, in understanding the dynamics when a person becomes a victim of a crime. So then there is the working with court, where there's an orientation program which involves us taking particularly children to court before the court day to help them to understand the lay of the land. We actually now provide them with a sense of orientation to understand what it means to be ready for court, and we want to make clear that this is not coaching them or interfering with the evidence and the facts of the case. This is just dealing with the psycho-emotional and the realities from, going to court back and forth. We also realized that a number of children were being victims of sex crime, and it's traumatic. And we felt we needed to bring just these victims into group counseling to be able to deal with some of the issues. We call it an overcomers program.
The Victim Services Division provides support to all, inclusive of free confidential counseling for all ages, no matter the victim's gender or sexual orientation.
It has gotten commendation from victims. We have a 95–96% rating among the persons who we serve.
I say be careful what you teach your little children. Make sure I know something to hurt them. Mind what you saying to my sister. She could be the next Prime Minister.
Sexual abuse is always a very difficult thing to confront, particularly when the alleged victim is a child. Parents, if it is that you suspect that your child has been sexually abused or is in a vulnerable set of circumstances where an abuse may occur, we encourage you to have dialogue with your child. Take the child to the pediatrician who normally attends to the child. If there is no such pediatrician, take your child to the clinic, to the hospital, to some medical practitioner who can do an assessment for you. It's very important as well that we don't just look at the physical side, but we also seek to find the kind of psychosocial support that a child may need. Does the child need a session with a counselor? Does the child need to speak with a pastor who is used to dealing with these issues? Does the child need to get that ongoing psychological support to assist with the healing process and also to assist the child in becoming strong enough, as it were, to deal with the various processes that will follow once it is that you suspect an abuse has occurred? If it is that the child actually discloses when you engage the child in discussion that, yes, mommy and daddy, I was abused, we encourage you to entertain the child, to listen to what the child has to say to you, and to take it very seriously. So we really urge you to have those discussions and to seek guidance in terms of, do I speak to the police about this, which we always say you have to, because once a child has been sexually abused, it's a criminal matter, and it means that once at all possible, the child should be assisted to go through the processes so that the perpetrator can in fact be held accountable. Support your child and let them understand in very clear terms that they are not the cause
or the reason for this abuse having been perpetrated. But the most important element is to support them, get them access to the services that they need, and give them a chance to have you give them that listening ear. For these tips and of course any other information that deals with children, that is anyone under 18 years, please feel free to contact the Office of the Children's Advocate. We're at 72 Harbour Street, downtown Kingston, and our numbers are 948-1134, or website www.oca.gov.jm. Thank you.
Watch what you teach your little children. Make sure I know something to hurt them. Mind what you saying to my sister, cause she could be the next Prime Minister.
Speeding through life and the traffic lights till somebody get hurt and the tears start cry. Save a life for the kids, for you and I. Save kids' lives. Make the road safe whether day or night, for pedestrians, passengers, cars and bikes. Save a life for the kids, for you and I. Save kids' lives.
Hey man, it's our job to keep the road them safe. Have to take care of the youth them so we know them safe. And obey the road code, don't race. No bother with the speeding, cause make face. And check your light them and your tires and brakes. Riders and the pillions who left the helmet. I put on the cell phone, no send no text. No matter what color they on your plate.
When you're on the road, take your time. When you're on the road, bear this in mind. When you're on the road, you can save a life. When you're on the road, when you're on the road, I beg you please be safe. Wear your seatbelt to keep you safe, and make sure your helmet's in place when you're on the road.
Hey, follow me. Well, everybody drive good and walk good. Then teach the youth them how to cross good. I beg you obey the road signs, park good. And put the young ones in a car seats, all good. And everybody drive good and walk good. And we say young and old, I beg you gas good. Remember the dark clothes at night, that is not good. From you I use up the sidewalk, it's all good.
When you're on the road, take your time. When you're on the road, bear this in mind. When you're on the road, you can save a life. When you're on the road, when you're on the road, I beg you please be safe. Wear your seatbelt to keep you safe, and make sure your helmet's in place. When you're on the road, when you're on the road, when you're on the road.
And that's where we leave you on this Monday's edition of Jamaica Magazine. Be sure to join us round about the same time tomorrow for another informative program. You may also access our shows online by visiting jis.gov.jm. We maintain an active presence on all the major social media platforms, so be sure to catch up with us. On behalf of the entire team here at the GIS, I'm Adrian Atkinson. Thanks for watching.
This has been a production of the Jamaica Information Service, the voice of Jamaica.